Welcome to another episode of Wealth Without Borders. And the title of this one is The Consciousness of Talent. And I'm very proud and delighted to have Brian Sun with me today. So Brian, it looks as though you're in San Francisco from my point of view. But could you just kindly tell us, where you are in the world and what the weather's like where you are?
Well, thank you, Howard, for this inspiring invitation to your podcast. I will speak from my current position. I'm based in Singapore now due to the coronavirus pandemic. Usually I'm based in Shanghai, been there for the last 20 years. And I've been focusing in the realm of talent management in my career as an executive search consultant, as well as a career coach. Thank you.
Fantastic. Yes, we actually met in Shanghai, and I'm delighted to have Brian on the show. He's got over 20 years of experience in the corporate world and as an entrepreneurial experience. That's mostly based in Shanghai, and he's got a distinguished career in talent acquisition and management, as he mentioned. So Brian, you're familiar, I think, with the format. It's going to be 8 questions in 8 minutes. I'll start the clock now. So Brian, who is your ideal client?
My ideal client would be not necessarily a large one, but a client that understands my value in providing alternative advisory, giving them that third-party perspective that they are not able to capture, especially in the area of assessing candidates, assessing personalities, and also leadership skill sets, because I think that's really what I'm called up to perform in delivering the right fit talent to leading organizations.
Fantastic. I think you've kind of almost covered it. 7 minutes 20 left. Question number 2, what is the problem that you solve for people? You mentioned talent, but how would you define the problem that they might face?
Well, firstly, high level, I would say I solve a chemistry problem. The chemistry of aligning 2 different personalities and skill sets together, because I would like to differentiate the difference between organization and a candidate. That in fact is really about the line manager, the boss, what he or she demands or expects from the incumbent. So in summary, chemistry.
Chemistry in the way communication flows and expectations between those.
Correct.
Got you. 6 minutes 30 left. What are the typical symptoms that you find your clients experience who have that problem?
The typical symptoms, because I deal in the China market and my clients tend to be multinational, international corporations, it's truly about cultural awareness, understanding different regulatory practices. What happens in tax policies in Europe will be entirely different in China, be it not looking at just at China as a big market, but also into distinctive cities like Shanghai. Taxation will be different from Beijing, or the labor law of a small state is different from a different country. So essentially it's about cultures and giving time to understand the way things work.
Right, because I know many people think of China as one big block, and it certainly isn't.
Exactly. It's a very common problem.
Yeah, okay. And 5 minutes 27 remaining. Question number 4. What are the common mistakes? We've touched on this of people thinking China's one market, but what are some of the other common mistakes people make when they're trying to solve this problem?
I think the common mistakes that people make in terms from, if they are coming from international markets, would be their habits and their existing knowledge. They're relying on this existing knowledge to solve a problem that may require a alternative research before diving into a solution quickly. While they're saying that is due to the urgency of getting business done. So I think time is a common mutual challenge for both parties, the protagonist and the antagonist, right? And then in between is the patience to discover new solutions, to develop a better one.
I'm with you. Yeah. So common assumptions carried over from past experiences ain't going to help you in China, right?
And it works also not beyond China, but also other markets too.
Correct.
Anything to do with cross-border.
Good. Okay, 4 minutes 11 remaining. Question number 5. What's one valuable free action that people who are checking out the show can implement today? Obviously, it's not going to solve all of the problem for them, but that will help them to solve that problem.
I'll take that to this background that removes the client or the vendor positioning. I'll look at it from a problem of analyzing a new market or coming into a new country. I think wider reading, 1. 2, wider conversations with people who have been there and done that. And also amongst these 2 practices, to be discerning to how you interpret and receive this information. And discerning even to your own friends that you trust and love, that they may not be giving the most precise or accurate information.
Good.
So to spend time on collecting information.
Right, this is one time when you shouldn't really trust your loved ones, right?
Not entirely.
Okay, good. So just over 3 minutes remaining. Question number 6, what's one valuable free resource that you can direct people to that will further help them with that problem?
There are 2 types of resource that I can suggest. One is the classical, traditional reliability of entrenched media, such as good ones like Economist magazine, Financial Times, and also some Asian-based media that are of good standing and position. But we sometimes have to live away from the vernacular and go deeper into the ground and touch social media that are a bit more rough, a bit more candid. So website like Glassdoor that reviews more about companies' best and also ugly practices, and also some comments on LinkedIn, right? But to not rely on either one, to have both the traditional and the rough ones combined together.
Very good, thank you. So there's several resources there, in fact. And 1 minute 59 remaining. What concept or book or program or talk has been most impactful in your own experience?
Wow, there are many mentors and talks and books that I've encountered. So I'm only able to lift up the most recent one. And I'll say this is a book by, actually a very old book from the turn of the 19th century called The Book of Tea by Okakura. And in fact, it's a book of philosophy from a Japanese thespian who has received education in the West, in Europe and UK, and also basically lamenting on the modernization of Japan and how they are breaking away from traditions. I think it's a very good, insightful, provocative book that came from the past, not too ancient, but relatively recent past. That's really quite insightful to our current conflicts and issues that we play with in modern day cross-border issues.
Fantastic, thank you so much. I'll be checking that one out as an old thespian myself. And then last question, 44 seconds remaining. Question number 8, what's the one question that I should have asked you but I didn't, that you believe will give great value to our audience, and what's the answer to that question?
Well, firstly, I will commend you've done splendidly well, Howard. But I would think deeper and say, what are my core values that I practice regularly, whether it is with a client or with a friend? I think the values that are just beyond just a assignment or a business, but what are the values that are relevant to my existence? Thank you.
Thank you so much. You just got in there, Brian, with literally seconds to go.
Well done.
Finishing with core values is an absolutely fantastic way to end the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Many thanks for checking out Wealth Without Borders podcast. I'd love you to head over to iTunes, subscribe, and leave us a review. And if you'd be kind enough to do that, I would really appreciate it. And then if you want to know more about what I do, check out wealthwithoutborders.net.